The edge of the universe sounds like a place, like something you could eventually reach if you traveled far enough. But that idea is already wrong before we even begin, because the universe doesn't end the way human imagination wants it to. There is no wall, no border, no final line where reality stops and nothing begins. And the disturbing part is that there actually is an edge, just not the kind you were expecting, because the edge of the universe is not a location, it's a limit created by time itself. And once you understand that, the universe becomes a lot more unsettling than any science fiction story ever written. Most people picture the universe like a giant room, endless darkness with galaxies floating inside it, and if you flew in one direction long enough, you'd eventually reach the far side. But space doesn't work like a room, and it doesn't behave like a container. Space is not something the universe sits inside of. Space is the universe, and that single fact breaks almost every intuitive idea we have about edges, borders, and endings, because you can't reach the edge of something that is constantly expanding in every direction at once. What we actually call the edge of the universe is something far more subtle and far more disturbing. It's known as the observable universe, which is not defined by distance, but by time. Because light does not travel instantly, it moves at a finite speed, and that speed creates a hard limit on what we can ever see, even with perfect technology, even with infinite patience, even if we survived forever. Every time you look at the night sky, you are not seeing the universe as it is right now. You are seeing layers of the past stacked on top of each other. The moon as it was a second ago, the sun as it was 8 minutes ago, distant galaxies as they were billions of years ago, and eventually you reach a point where light simply hasn't had enough time to reach us since the universe began, and that point is what we mistake for the edge. But here's where it gets uncomfortable, because that edge is not fixed. It's not static. It's not slowly revealing more of the universe over time in a friendly, predictable way. Instead, the universe is expanding, and not just expanding, but accelerating, which means space itself is stretching faster and faster, pulling galaxies away from each other, and the farther away something is, the faster it's being carried beyond our reach. This doesn't violate physics. Nothing is actually moving through space faster than light, but space itself has no speed limit. And that distinction changes everything because it means there are galaxies that already exist beyond a cosmic boundary where their light will never reach us. Not in a billion years, not in a trillion years, not ever, and every single second. More galaxies cross that invisible line and vanish from our observable reality forever. This is not something that will happen in the distant future. It is happening right now. While you're listening to this, parts of the universe are disappearing from us permanently. Not destroyed, not erased, but rendered unreachable, unknowable, and silent. And there is no technology that can stop it, because this is not a limitation of engineering. It is a limitation built into the structure of reality itself. And the truly unsettling part is what this means for the future of knowledge. Right now, we live in a special era, an incredibly rare moment in cosmic history where the universe is still visible, where galaxies still exist in the night sky, where the faint afterglow of the Big Bang can still be detected, but this era does not last forever, and future observers, if they exist at all, will not see what we see. They will look out into space and find almost nothing. Trillions of years from now, distant galaxies will have moved so far away that they will no longer be visible. The cosmic background radiation will fade beyond detectability, and the evidence that the universe ever had a beginning will vanish, meaning future civilizations could look out into the cosmos and reasonably conclude that the universe is static, empty, and eternal, not because they are wrong, but because the universe has erased its own history. And this leads to a deeply uncomfortable realization. If the universe can hide its own origin, what else is it hiding? Because the observable universe is not the whole universe, it is only the part we can access. And beyond that horizon, space may continue forever, or it may curve back on itself, or it may connect to other regions with completely different physical laws. Some theories suggest a multiverse made of countless bubble universes, each with its own version of reality, while others suggest repeating cosmic patterns stretching infinitely in all directions. But here's the key point that often gets ignored. We have no evidence for any of it. Everything beyond the observable universe is permanently speculative, not because scientists lack imagination, but because information from those regions cannot reach us. And science, at its core, depends on observation. which means there may be truths about reality that are forever beyond our ability to confirm, no matter how intelligent we become. And that's where the idea of the edge becomes truly disturbing, because it's not just an edge of space, it's an edge of knowledge. There are questions we can ask that the universe simply will not answer. What lies beyond the observable universe may be infinite, or finite, or something so strange that our language can't describe it, but for all practical purposes, it is sealed off from us, not by distance, but by the structure of time and expansion, and no amount of progress can change that. Even worse, the edge is moving inward relative to what we can access. As time goes on, the observable universe does not just fail to grow, it effectively shrinks in terms of what we can interact with, meaning the universe becomes lonelier, quieter, and more isolated with every passing epoch. And eventually, even nearby galaxies will fade away, leaving behind an island of stars surrounded by endless darkness. At that point, the universe won't feel infinite anymore. It will feel small. And here's the final twist that makes this all even more unsettling. We exist at the exact moment when the universe is most visible, when the maximum amount of cosmic information is available, when the sky is filled with clues about the origin, structure, and fate of reality, which means this moment, right now, is not normal. It is temporary, and it will never happen again. The edge of the universe is not something waiting for us in the distance. It is something closing in around us. And once that window finally shuts, the universe will still exist, but it will no longer be understandable. And that might be the most insane part of all.